Hi guys, welcome back to another polymer clay tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how you can make some faux quartz earrings using some translucent polymer clay and some other really fun things. I'm really excited about this tutorial. I love this technique and the way that these earrings turn out. They're just beautiful. So this is what you're going to need. You're going to need a tissue knife to cut your clay with. You're going to need some translucent clay. Now I'm using Sculpey Primo translucent. This is just my go-to, but whatever your preference is fine. Also an acrylic roller. You will also need some gold foil. So I found these gold leaf sheets at my local craft store, and it's super easy and it works really great with this technique. Also acrylic paint. I'm using red, that's just the color I chose, but you can use whatever you want to. You'll need a Ziploc bag, and then you'll also need some parchment paper. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a small amount of this translucent clay because this is really just for demonstration purposes. I'm not making a ton of earrings. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of this clay off, and then I'm going to condition it. Okay, now that I've conditioned my clay, the next thing I'm going to do is cut through it with my tissue knife. So this is my technique. I cut it into strips, and then I kind of gather those strips together, and then I cut little bits off of them. So your main goal here is just to get a bunch of little tiny pieces of the clay. They do not have to be the same size or shape. You actually want them to be somewhat irregular, just like this. All right, so now we're going to take all these little bits that we just chopped up, and we're going to put them into our Ziploc baggie. So what I like to do, because your clay will want to stick together a little bit, is I'll just kind of go in and make sure they're all separated. You don't want them all sticking together. All right, now you're going to take your acrylic paint, and you're going to put a couple drops in there. You don't need a lot. We really just need enough to be able to coat all of our little bits of clay. And you'll see here, I'm not using a ton of paint. It's just a couple little drops here, just like that. All right, now we're going to seal this baggie up, and we're going to shake it all around and coat all of our pieces. All right, now that we've got all of our pieces coated, you're gonna grab your parchment paper. And the reason I use this is just simply because it keeps my work area clean. It makes cleanup a whole lot easier. All right, so you're gonna dump out all of your little bits of clay here on our parchment paper. Sometimes I like to stick in the bag, just make sure you get them all out. Okay, and then something I didn't mention earlier is translucent liquid clay, and that's what I'm going to use here. This is liquid Sculpey, and it's clear, transparent clay. All right, so we are going to actually squirt some of this right onto our clay pieces here. Not only does it give it just an extra, look, like a extra element, I guess, to the design, but it also helps with our gold leaf to help it stick to the clay as well. All right, so just take one sheet of that gold leaf and lay it right over top and kind of push it into it, and it'll stick. It'll probably try to stick to your fingers too. I just kind of try to peel it off and put it back onto my clay. So see, it just kind of breaks up into little pieces like this. And then I like to take it and squeeze it into a ball. Okay, and I do this to try to get all of the clay to stick together really, really well. So we're trying to squeeze all those little bits back together, essentially. And this could take some time. It is messy, so just be prepared for that element of it. But I squeeze and squeeze for a little bit until I feel like it's stuck together pretty well. So once I feel like my clay is sticking together pretty well, the next step that I do is I try to form it into a cube shape. And the reason I do that is because it gives you a flat surface. So you can lay it flat onto your work area and it's easier to cut into. That's totally optional. You can leave it in a sphere if you would like. This is just my preference. I think it makes it a whole lot easier to work with whenever you start cutting into it. So now I'm just squeezing it. I'm turning it and squeezing it, just trying to make sure that I have everything sticking together as well as it can. Oops, a little piece came off. That's okay. Shove it back in there and just keep squeezing. Okay, now slice it up and lay it out. Okay, so when I lay my pieces out to make my slab, I overlap them a little bit. And what that does is it helps to hold it together a little bit better so it's not gonna tear as much. And then you'll take your acrylic roller and you'll roll over that to get all the pieces to stick together and then run it through your pasta machine. This just helps it stay together a little bit better. Okay, so I ran this through my pasta machine, but if you don't have one, that's fine. Totally fine just to use an acrylic roller. All right, so now I'm gonna cut off the excess here. And the reason I do this is just to have a clean edge whenever I'm cutting, but you absolutely do not have to do this. This is just my preference. Okay, and I'll save those scraps for later. Now I just have a round cutter here, and these are gonna make some jumbo studs. I'm like obsessed with jumbo studs right now, I love them. And then this really pretty cutter here to make some really pretty dangles. All right, so just get these cut out, and then we'll be ready to bake them up. Now bake at 275 for 25 minutes. Okay, now we're gonna be adding some UV resin, and I just got this at Michael's craft store. I also have a silicone tool, and this is just gonna help me move the resin around really easily. And I'm working on a silicone mat, and then this UV lamp I just got from Amazon. But I do wanna say really quick, please make sure that you're taking the proper safety precautions when you're working with resin. Okay, so I'm just adding a big dollop here on the top of my earring, and then I'm gonna use my silicone tool to move it around to completely cover the whole top part of my earrings. All right, now that we've covered the tops of our earrings, we're gonna put them underneath our little UV lamp here and let them harden. This process usually takes about 10 minutes, but of course all lamps will vary. All right, you guys, here is the finished product. I absolutely love the way these red quartz earrings turned out. To the little dangles, I just added these pretty findings that I found on Etsy. I think they just add a little extra sparkle and I love it. And here are the jumbo studs. I am obsessed with these. Okay, this is what they look like on. They're super lightweight. They're so fun. They're so pretty. You can wear them with a dress or like I'm wearing here with a jean jacket and a cute little black tank. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial today. Please make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.